Hey guys, this is Doug Johnson. I'm VP of A&R at Black River Entertainment, and we've got three incredible young songwriters today with us. Y'all introduce yourselves, if you will.
How's it going, y'all? I'm Josiah Siska. I'm a recording artist and a publisher here at Black River, or songwriter here at Black River, a publisher.
Hey, I'm MaRynn Taylor. I'm an artist here at Black River, and I'm a songwriter here at Black River.
Hey, I'm Dan Wilson, and I am also a songwriter here at Black River Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, so we're going to go behind the songwriting and kind of hear a little bit about your process. And
let's do it.
What you do. First thing is, what a glorious thing to do, huh? We get to do.
That was the best.
Yeah. Try to change the world in 3.5 minutes or less.
That's right. That's right.
So, MaRynn,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the backstory of you becoming a songwriter and how'd you make it in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I kind of know this story, but tell everybody else.
Well, I'll tell it again. I mean, I basically grew up listening to country music. It was in the house all the time. So I just kind of naturally gravitated towards it, and even in church, and then getting my own CDs at Target, and just learning about the songwriting process, and even like the artist, becoming an artist. I think coming here, I finally found what I want to write about and what comes from my heart, and then learning from incredible songwriters who are all here is just, I think that's how I found myself, is just learning from everybody in Nashville.
Well, just a little bit about your story of actually making it to Nashville.
So I moved to
Over here.
Nashville in March of 2019, and then me and my mom, how I met my label, this is the story of how I met my label, but I was at CMA Fest, and me and my mom were there, and it was the end of the day. It was raining. We were about to go home until we got a flyer that said 60-second spotlight. And we're like, okay, what's this? Let's go find it. Okay. I get there, and you guys are done for the day. And I was 5 days underage, and that was kind of my thing. I'm like, what's 5 days? You know, come on.
Round it out.
Yeah. But luckily, you let me in. And
Well, we were lucky that it worked out.
I
kinda
got
meant to
blessed
be.
with good people. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that night I went to CMA Fest with you at in the suite in Nissan Stadium, and then that whole summer was songwriting for basically the first time, and getting and be in the studio for the first time. And
Well, I've got to say your growth has been remarkable. And for me, doing this a long time, there's nothing more thrilling than to see a young artist, young songwriter that doesn't know they can't change the world, and maybe you will. So
maybe knock on
counting
wood.
on it. All right, Josiah, how about you?
What? Well,
How'd you get to Nashville, songwriting bug?
Well, I moved here when I was like 17, 18, right when I got done 5-6 years ago. I did American Idol, and I was on the season 15 finale with Fox. And as soon as I was done with that, I was like, you know, I need to get up to Nashville. So I moved up here, and through a family friend, met Mark Miller from Sawyer Brown, and he's mentored me over the past years. And
We love Mark.
yeah, and he introduced me to you, and you rubbed off on me a little bit, and
And where are you from?
from Georgia. Originally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, that's why it works. I mean, go
Go
Dogs,
Dogs.
Georgia, go Braves. We all out here, you know. But yeah, wrote a lot of songs here. Learned a lot from a lot of friends writing with people that are better than me. That's probably my favorite thing to do as a songwriter. That's probably what impacted me.
Well, I
the
can
most.
promise you it's getting harder to find for you because
Thanks,
you are
Dad.
growing like crazy. So, and such a unique, great artist too, man. Both of y'all, just completely different and yet old souls at the same time. So, Brother Dan Wilson,
Yes,
tell us
sir.
about how you got here.
Yes.
Y'all look.
Okay, so 8th grade, my dad gives me his old Ovation guitar from the basement that had been gathering dust, and he teaches me 2 or 3 chords. I had grown up being a drummer. I used to want to be a professional drummer growing up, and my dad taught me a couple chords.
You didn't want to be a musician?
That's good. That's good. Musician jokes.
I just had a
Musician jokes.
drummer I had a conversation with. So that's, sorry.
So I started learning like old Alan Jackson songs and George Strait songs and stuff like that, and just fell in love with those songs. And then I'm in St. Augustine, Florida with my family. This is a random story, but it's true. In a restaurant in St. Augustine, Florida, there's a guy in the corner, a local artist, and he's playing these songs, and he's playing songs he wrote, and I was like, I know those chords. Like, I think I can do this. So I go back home. I'm like 14 years old, and I write my first song in my parents' garage. And from that day, it was sort of like the heavens open and the lights shine down, and it's like, this is what you're supposed to do. And so I knew from a pretty early age I wanted to move here and try to write songs. And like you said, we're just trying to tell the truth in 3 minutes or less. So obviously have mentors like Josiah and MaRynn who have helped me teach me the craft of writing, and I love it.
You're doing great. I'm a big fan, bro.
Thank you.
So, do you
Too.
remember your
Love
first
yourself,
song you wrote?
I do remember my first song. Yeah, I do. It was called That's Living. Revolutionary title, I know. Yeah, it was just, it's when you're that young and you don't know what commercial is or what co-writing is or anything like that, you write from your heart, right? Write about what you know, and I was just writing about my family and growing up in South Carolina and what that meant to me, and I'll never let anyone hear it.
I don't know now. We got you on the spot.
Oh, gosh.
no.
I don't know if I could.
MaRynn, you remember your first song?
Yeah, it was about my dog, and my dog's name was Zama, and it's called Zama's Paw. I have no idea how it goes, but yeah.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me, because one thing about your writing is it comes from real stuff for you. To be as young as you are, I am amazed at the wealth of what you really feel and who you really are, and that's great. That's how songs, I think, are relatable. And how about you, brother? How about
My first one?
Yeah.
I started writing when I was like 16, 17, and like there were a couple songs I wrote in one day, I know. So like I don't know which one came first, but I do remember the songs. There was my ex-girlfriend, she broke my heart, my high school sweetheart, so I wrote a song called Megan Loves to Lie. I still play that one, it's funny.
Was that really her name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, Megan, if you're listening,
Hey,
Yeah, didn't
Hey,
even
if you're
hide the
watching.
name.
Yeah.
sorry. You're going to miss
song
out
wrote
on the...
itself.
You should have hung on there. I'm sorry. Hey, okay, this is a good one for you. So, mentor, because I know you got to know us all. So, who like gave you the bug, or some of those artists and writers that?
Man, I mean, a lot of the mentors that I had coming up were people that I really got to know, which is cool to get to have mentors in the music world. Definitely, Mark Miller is one of my biggest mentors. He's poured a lot of soul, a lot of music into me, and you're a freaking good mentor too, Doug.
Well,
I mean,
I appreciate
Hello.
that.
we've been
Somebody's
writing
got to
for
be
a
here to
while.
make sure you know what not
Hey,
to do, right?
Hey, yeah, man, you started writing with me before I was signed here. I mean, I was 18 or 19 years
Yeah,
old
well,
over
you
at the
just-
other office, just writing songs, and that taught me a lot. And I learned a lot from just listening to the influences that I grew up on: Johnny Cash, Haggard, and Waylon, little Keith Whitley, all the good stuff. So
Yeah, you can tell it in your songs and the way you sing too. I love it. MaRynn, how about you?
I would probably say and there's not a specific one. I would say like all the women really in the 90s and in the 2000s. It's just what I grew up on, and listening to it with my hairbrush in my bedroom, and I still do that. I don't think that'll ever change, but I think they morphed me in the person.
We need to
that-
make a microphone that looks like a hairbrush.
I can't
That
believe it
is
hasn't.
What?
There's
I'm
got to be
sure
one
it's been
somewhere,
done at some
because we've
point.
all done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to have been
Mine was
done.
way back with Stairway to Heaven.
Nice. Yeah.
such a
There you go.
get that
I was back when I
microphone.
needed a hairbrush. All right, Dan, how about you? Mentor.
Oh man, my first major mentor when I got to town is Tom Douglas, who's
That's a good one.
Pretty good one.
Big one.
yeah, he is not only a legendary songwriter, but just loves young songwriters like Doug, loves to pour into young songwriters. He started this mentor group with like 6 or 7 of us. We would meet at Tom's house once a month.
Unbelievable.
We would play him our horrible songs, and he would pour into us. So I learned so much about the craft of writing from him, and just the mentality you have to do this. So yeah, Tom, and then Tony Lane and Lori McKenna, as far as like just music mentors that when I listen to them, they freak me out. How good they are, and tons more. Like you said, Doug, just yeah, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, the Masters, right?
Come on.
So
There's plenty of inspiration
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So, MaRynn, day in the life of a songwriter.
Well, I wake up, I normally turn on some music, normally calming music, or whatever mood I'm in. Normally make some breakfast, sometimes, depends on how late I get up.
Crack of noon, right?
Yeah, crack of noon, is basically it. No, I actually kind of like to wake up a little early. I wake up around like 7, and I like to watch the sun come up and just kind of get my brain flowing. A lot of times I'll pick up my guitar and just kind of sing gibberish almost until it turns into words, and then until it turns into something that God put into my head.
Yeah, we're going to talk about more of that later because that's a great comment. About, yeah. And so then when you come in,
Yeah.
you come in the office, or
If it's a songwriter I've written with before, it's normally pretty easy to pick up and start writing. If it's somebody I haven't really met before or know who is, I love to learn about them and them same to me, and hopefully we'll get a song, but sometimes it's just you get along so well that you just talk the whole time and you just hang, and then the next time you write, it's like you get probably most likely a really good song.
important question: who does most of the talking, you think?
I
was leading you on
mean,
that
depends.
Okay.
Depends.
All right. Your day writing as a writer, artist, right? Both of y'all too is early in your careers. Your artistry is amazing. Your songwriting is amazing and growing every day. And it's just thrilling for me to watch it and to be lucky enough to be some little part of it. So. All right, day in the life of Josiah.
Well, I mean, it changes every year. You know, I think I go through little phases. I'm a mood. You know, like when I was living up on the mountain, I woke up every morning blasting a shotgun off the porch, and that was like my cup of coffee, the noise and just the adrenaline.
She
rush.
does calming music. You go shoot your
I go
shot.
shoot
Hey,
mine,
anyway,
yeah.
anything
Hey,
that works.
whatever
right?
works,
I
man.
mean, it was certainly like better than any cup of coffee, but now I'm in a community. I can't do that. I'm pretty sure I get in trouble. So no, I like to stay up really late. That's just a bad habit, but I try and make it a good habit because I write my best melodies and my best. I have really clear vision with my writing and anything artistic. 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning when I can't sleep, and then I get this melody, and that melody is just going to keep me up all night until I find like at least a hook for it, or just like put it on the guitar and hit record and then go to bed. You know, so. Those little moments, I couldn't tell you how many of my songs that I've cut, how many of the songs that are my favorite to sing, or when I come in the next morning and I bring in those ideas that I come up with at 4 a.m. But when I start the day, it's sleep in as late as I possibly can, rush getting ready, because
Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull, Coca-Cola, and a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and I'm on the way.
So is it difficult getting co-writes at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning?
Don't call me, brother.
Me neither.
You know, when I had roommates, when I lived with songwriters, it was not actually. That was just a thing. You know, we'd hang out and write songs all night. But
So you said something important. So has there ever been a thing at night where you thought, I love this so much, I'll remember it in the morning? You didn't put it down and you didn't remember it.
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, because I have
used
done
to
that, and I
have
said,
that
there's
happen.
no way I'll forget this. And today, with a telephone right there and a voice,
There's no point not to just hit the
memo,
voice memo. I have things
Man.
named Idea 150. You know, but at least as I got it. You know, and like I had a friend of mine who is a great songwriter. She gave me some awesome advice when I first came to town because I ran into one of those. I was telling her, I was like, I had this great idea and I can't remember it. She goes, man, an idea is like a flash of headlights down the highway. If you don't take a picture of it, it's gonna drive on and you're never gonna see it again.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
like,
That's true.
that's the truth. So
Yeah,
so
well, that's great. That's great advice. Dan, how about you? Day in the life of Dan Wilson.
Day in the life, exhilarating. I get up. So me and my wife have a 1.5-year-old, so we're up pretty early these days.
So he may be able to write at 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Actually,
depending
he
on
said no, but
depending on how it goes. Yeah,
3 or 4, but he's getting up.
right. So I'm getting up. I'm kind of doing the family thing for an hour, hour and a half. They usually disappear to a little office we have at our house, and definitely with a cup of coffee or 3 or 4, however many it takes to get me going. I'm always reading. Always trying to read great fiction. I'm a pretty big nerd at the end of the day, so I'm either reading, some historical thing, or I'm reading fiction, Steinbeck, Faulkner. Those, just getting that language in your head, I feel like is so crucial to when you approach a lyric, and just being able to see narrative and see metaphor and all that. And there's a saying that I can't remember, somebody told me, like, what goes in comes out. So if there's nothing going in, it's going to be harder for something to come out. So I'm always reading fiction, and then like MaRynn, I usually grab my guitar and fiddle around and spit out gibberish, whatever. Or maybe sometimes I have a title that's sticking with me. So I'm sort of, fumbling around in the dark, and then eventually sometimes you land on an idea. And hopefully by the time you walk in at 10:30 or 11, by the time we start working around here, you have a inspiration, you got something to work with, to write down on the page.
There's something magical about that time where you're just fumbling around and your brain's not saying, I've got to be brilliant.
Yeah.
You're just loving the feel of being a songwriter and writing, and sometimes it feels like they sneak up on you.
Yeah, well, you were talking earlier.
Judging yourself.
Yeah, I think as songwriters, any creative person, you probably know the inner critic, and the inner critic is so strong all the time. But something about, like what Josiah was saying, late at night or early in the morning, it seems to be taking a bit of a nap. And so you can kind of find those seeds we were talking about earlier. Even if it's a guitar lick or a melody, I mean, you just sort of know it when you hear it, and you try to chase it down.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So gibberish. What's the? So there's a story, and I think it's true that Paul McCartney was it scrambled eggs on Yesterday? Is that? I think he was singing something like that to that melody, which is one of the classic melodies of all time.
Right.
Oh my
right.
gosh.
And I've heard writers. I got a chance to hang out with Lamont Dozier for a few days, and he used to say, and he's had 78 number ones.
That's
Crazy,
all, huh?
crazy
Yeah,
success.
Not much.
Yeah. And he used to say he used to go in a room and try to push a song around. And he said when you learn to go in the room and just see where the song wanted to carry him, his whole career changed.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. He will sit and play the piano, and he'll say, hey, okay, if our heart's right, the muse will show up. Let's just keep playing it. Let's don't rush it. It will tell us what to say. And I think that's part of, we give ourselves that space to just pick up a guitar, sit down at the piano, and just be, hey, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm showing up.
Yep.
I love it. If you want to pick me today, I'm
Yeah.
available.
Right.
Yeah.
Harlan Howard, great country songwriter, said, I hold the pen, he writes the songs.
Yeah. It's true.
It's pretty magic.
Yeah.
So, who do you want to write with that's out there writing today? If somebody, if you got a chance to write with somebody that...
We're all right with Dan today, so that'll be fun.
Oh, so,
Yeah,
okay.
come on.
Oh, I love that.
Come on.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I don't know, I've always wanted to write with like Nicole Gallion, like Laura McKenna, and
They're just incredible songwriters.
yeah,
They really are.
and to learn from them as like women too in songwriting, I think would just be really, really cool. So hopefully
Amazing.
someday,
How about
It's
you,
going to
Bill?
happen.
I mean, my favorite American songwriter of all time is Jerry Jeff. I can't write with him because he passed away a year or so ago. I would have loved to, though. That was that was one of those dreams. But I'd love to sit down with Dean Dillon, pick his brain, and write a song with him. That'd be
He's
that'd be something
incredible.
special.
He really is.
He's one of the greatest, if not
Yeah.
the greatest songwriters.
We'll make that happen.
One of these days.
Yep. How about
Oh man, the list is long. I think probably Tony Lane. I just love the way he can hit you in the heart and twist the knife. But Tony Lane's probably at the top of my list these days.
Hey, did actually getting a publishing deal have an effect on the way you were writing, Dan? How did that change?
Yeah, I
what you were
think
writing?
that's actually a great question. I think when I first signed the deal, no, and then as I got into it, you can put this this pressure on you that you have to be great every day, because you have this pressure. You have to go in there. You have to write a hit, and then you eventually realize, all right, I really don't have a lot of control over that. So I've got to I try to go back to the place where I was 13 or 14 years old in my parents' garage and writing that first song. I mean, we have to get back to that place where it's like we detach ourselves from the end result and we just try to.
Yeah, hopefully that kid's always in the room.
Yeah, I mean, because once the kid leaves the room, it really is. I mean, it's a cancer to the process. And so, yeah, I think initially, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I'm working on coming out of that now. Yeah.
Right. Hey, so you haven't been here long, but it's intense. So it has, how hard you worked, MaRynn. What do you know now that you wished you had known prior to coming to Nashville? Is there anything?
I think, I mean, even going into my first writes, I was so shy, and I just thought everybody was judging me. I thought it was like the up downs, like it was just, all of it. And I wish I knew that when you go into a write, nobody's judging you. Like, you're working together to make a song, and I feel like if you say something but it's not really it, but then maybe it leads to something else, like that's still helping move the song around.
Yeah.
And I think I learned that pretty quickly, and then I began to make friends and open up more, and I think that's when my truth came out, and I think I loved that so much, of just getting comfortable and not being so reserved, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. I think all of us, when we first start co-writing, we worry about sounding stupid.
Yeah.
I've done it long enough to where everybody I co-write with expects it. So I just go in stupid, we get past that.
It's good. I love that.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
How about you? Things you know now that you wish you had known then, or is it?
I wouldn't change anything.
Good.
I was talking about this the other day, how like every phase of my life has a different theme of songs. There's a different sound to the phases I went through as I guess evolved as a songwriter. And I still sing some of my first songs I ever wrote. I still sing songs I wrote 4 years ago. I sing songs I wrote, 2 years into writing songs, and they're uniquely different because I didn't know this and I didn't know that. So I was just doing 3 chords and an old school melody. But them lyrics were on because it was only 3 chords. I wasn't focused on that melody, so the lyrics were good on those old songs. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would tell myself maybe just come on, keep at it. But other than that, I wouldn't want to change anything.
So on those days when you sit down and you're like, okay, I want to be brilliant, I want to think of something, I want to come up with something, and it's not there, instead of just giving up, what are things you do to still be writing? I mean, I don't believe there's such thing as writer's block. There's such a thing as it's not coming, but like you said, part of your writing is reading. And so I think there are things that we can all do, whether it's coming up with a guitar lick, piano chord progression,
Yeah.
that will always get us down the road, hopefully, to where that starts pouring in.
Right.
What are things you do, MaRynn, that when it's just not coming out, but you still want to work?
I think even meditation, or even coming up with like a good title, or doing like exercises where it's like you're looking at one thing and okay, write about that one thing and jot down everything about that one thing, or write a poem or read, I don't know.
So you stay busy, you're writing even if
Yeah.
it's not flowing in.
I agree. I think if you go in with a melody or a title, or like
I
there's
call them
always
seeds,
something.
anything that excites you. I'm a
Yeah.
big believer there's nobody that can tell us anything. We're really meant to be songwriters. If that's our gift, our purpose, there is a mechanism God gave us by which we know we're doing it right, and it's on the back of our neck. And that's what we try to, any little thing that thrills us. So you ever come up with that first line of a song and it scares you because it's like, I don't know if I can write any other lines I like as much as this line.
Yes.
I'm nervous. And I love it when that happens.
That's the best.
That's a good
Yeah.
I've
problem.
got some really good first lines too. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll help
I
you out
mean,
if you need help.
yeah. I think that if you write one great line and nothing else happens that day, it's still kind of a miracle, So you might come back the next day and be like, oh, I get it. I love what MaRynn said. It's just trying to find something that moves you or inspires you, even if it doesn't turn into anything, just to still exercise that muscle, even if you weren't brilliant that day.
That's great. Well, let's take an audience question.
We do. We have an audience question.
do
So
it.
Music Fiend 124 wants to know, how did you find your genre?
That's a good one.
It's a great question.
Who wants to answer that?
Well, you can.
You're
you're
ready.
like this.
There you
How-
go.
what did- you had
It
a
found
choice.
me.
I guess I did. Yeah, I
I didn't found it. It
From
found
Georgia.
me.
And, yeah.
I mean, I guess it was. I listened to everything growing up, so I can't say like I only listened to country music as a kid. I mostly listened to country music, but I started singing. I learned a lot of Johnny Cash because I didn't have to transpose it growing up. I could just, it was easy to learn. It's E. I don't have to mess with it. I can sing in his key. So that's really where I just started singing country naturally because it matched my voice, I guess. I played to it, and then I fell in love with it eventually.
When do you think your voice will change?
It's I maybe can go another octave in 5 years or so.
Oh my
Oh
goodness!
my
No,
gosh.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I sound just like that, but it hurts my back. So I don't do that. All right, so question to you, same question.
Me? Okay. I think, because, I mean, country music, I feel like the songwriting and what's so unique about it is that it is so honest and it's storytelling. And I love stories, and I think that's kind of what got me into it. Just listening to it a bunch of times, and I don't know, I listened to like folk growing up, like James Taylor, John Denver, and then I loved when Taylor Swift went pop, and I listened to pop more. And I feel like I just grabbed everything I could, and then it just kind of, I guess I'm pop country is what you would call it, but I don't know, I guess that's how it happened.
How about Dan? How
Yeah.
about you?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely definitely a product of my influences and the way I grew up. We had country music in the house. But really, I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of gospel and Christian music just because my mom sang in church a lot. And so that was sort of the initial seed, I guess, that was planted in me. And then I'm in middle school, and I hear the opening lick of Pickup Man by Joe Diffie.
Come on.
That telly, on that Telecaster. I was like, what the heck is that? And so that sent me down a rabbit hole of Alan Jackson and George Strait and Joe Diffie, and then eventually Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash. And just the way I grew up, I related to the lyric. And so that really, I guess that's how, I don't know if it found me or I found it, but that's how I resonated with it.
Guys, this is so much fun. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's hear some music. So as you know me, I'm the one that will go, hey, play that song. You know, we may be in a restaurant, and I'll be like, so you want to be in the music business?
Yeah.
So can I request a song? I'm such a big fan of all of yours.
Thanks, man.
And if it's the wrong song, you can say no, but
No.
I still have a microphone.
I
So
was going to say,
how about your cigarette song?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I love this song.
Thanks, man. All right, quick story on this. I was in my car listening to like some talk radio show in a weak moment, and the radio DJ is talking about the movie Hacksaw Ridge, and he was talking about that age-old scene where a soldier kind of runs back into the fire and rescues his buddy, and they've just made it out of this firefight. They're standing there and they're smoking a cigarette together, and they've made it out, and the radio DJ just goes, well, you're not going to smoke a better cigarette than that. And I was like, as a songwriter, always listening for those things, and I literally almost like pulled off the road. I was like, that needs to be a song. And so I got together with my friends Joseph Patton and Jessica Roadcap, and we wrote this song. I'll always say this is a song about cigarettes. It's not really about cigarettes. It's really about redemption. So I hope you like it. It's called A Better Cigarette. We grew up down the road from each other since we could walk, since our daddies taught us how to shake a hand. We used to play G.I. Joes in the backyard sandbox, but now he's over the ocean fighting in a desert sand. But after a few years he finally makes it back, walks up to my doorstep and opens up a pack. Well, you won't smoke a better cigarette than that. Well, speaking of my daddy, I can't say how long it's been since we had a beer and decent conversation. 'Cause he ain't much on talking, and I ain't much on calling, and we ain't much on forgiving and forget. But he came by one night to clear the air over some nicotine. We sat down a while and made our way around to I'm sorry, and you won't smoke a bad cigarette then that. No, you won't smoke a bad cigarette then that. Ooh. We put our money down on a house with hopes of filling empty rooms with a family of our own. And we've been trying through the years and the tears against the odds and running out of options. And doctors saying it'll never happen. Well, we almost gave up, and then it happened. So I snuck out while she was sleeping. After she told me the news, I took one long thankful drag, knowing I'll be quitting soon. And you won't smoke a bad cigarette then that. No, you won't smoke a bad cigarette then that. No, you won't smoke a bad cigarette then that. No, you won't smoke a bad cigarette.
Son, that rocks,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank
That
you.
rocks.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, you said something that's important. You were listening to and you were aware of that somebody said something that clicked an idea.
Yeah.
I think we all get so busy sometimes that it's important to remind ourselves daily, maybe once an hour,
Yeah.
I'm a songwriter. I need to
Yeah.
always have the radar. Some people do
Yes.
it beautifully. I get so busy with record company stuff and things, or in the studio, sometimes I forget I'm a songwriter.
Right. It's such good
And that's
advice.
blasphemy to something I love so much. So I think we all need sometimes to work on the habit of saying, hey, I'm a songwriter.
Yeah.
My radar's up. If
Agreed.
God wants to send an idea, I'm available and I'm
Right.
listening, you know. So,
Absolutely.
anyway,
Yeah,
that's
some of the
great.
best some of the best songs come from conversation. So
Yeah.
you gotta always be listening.
Well, that's so great.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So we're going to move the
Do some
mics
musical
around.
chairs here.
That thing you're talking about with that hair on the back of the neck?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I think
That one did it for me.
I think it's going to happen with all three of these songs. So, musical chairs. Y'all did that really well, by the way.
Hey,
We only had to rehearse it like an hour and a half, right?
Okay, cool.
All right, so once again, I get to choose. You know what I'm going to choose.
I know you're gonna choose.
Oh, and once again, there's not a truer song you could write. Tell us about how true this song is and what it is.
This song's
for
called
you.
Boxes, and I moved out of my parents' house in May of this year, and that was a hard transition for me. And I think I just got so busy, and it wasn't really like hitting me yet until that week I moved, and all of my things were just in boxes in this small little studio apartment. And it just kind of hit me like, oh, like this is the new chapter, you know? And I had to write that week with one of my good friends, Lizzie McAvoy, and I was in her studio, and I just kind of started
Excuse
getting
me.
choked up. and I think we wrote it in like an hour or something. Got a little demo, and I choked up throughout the demo, and yeah, I think those songs come from a place from the heart, and come from God as well, of how fast I wrote it, because I really don't write that fast.
Well, I think
so it just
it's
kinda
when they're
happened.
real, because Tom Douglas, House It Built Me 7 years later.
Yep.
So it's like an hour or 7 years.
Yeah,
Whatever, as long as they keep
Whatever
coming,
works.
Yeah,
that's right.
But I love this song. Will you share it
Thank
with
you.
us, please?
Well, this is called Boxes. How do I know when to let things go? What do I take or leave in this place? How do I fit my childhood dreams, my biggest plans, in my Honda CRV? Ooh, I'm packing up boxes. I knew this day was coming, but it takes me by surprise. Ooh, will it all be forgotten when I pull out of this driveway, leave this whole world behind? How do I fit all of these memories in these boxes? How do I take the kitchen walls, the upstairs hall, the creak in the second stair? How do I pack the windows and the sky, the comfort that I felt on my pillow every night? Ooh, I'm packing up boxes. I knew this day was coming, but it takes me by surprise. Ooh, will it all be forgotten when I pull out of this driveway, leave my whole world behind? How do I fit all of these memories in these boxes? Will anyone miss the big oak tree in the backyard with the tie rope swing? Will anyone miss the front porch light, the lilac bushes on a summer's night? Will anyone notice the bright red roses dug up and packed up in cardboard boxes and somehow fit in my studio apartment? How do I fit all of these memories? Tell me, how do I fit all of these memories in these boxes? Thank you.
Love that song so much. And the record of it is unbelievable that people will be able to hear early next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
That coming from you means a big deal. So.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
you being a songwriter, maybe you should sing a song.
Well, maybe I'll think about it after Josiah. See if he inspires me.
Oh yeah. Well,
He's going to inspire me. I love this song. You know which one? You know which one I'm asking for.
I know which one you want to hear.
And you're actually recording this this coming Monday.
Yes.
Yes,
So
so-
we're getting ready to cut this thing. Is that how it works, right? I got the mic in here. I took the one out my whole thing, one of my shirt. I think that'll be good. Maybe a little. Nah, yeah. That'll be a little better. Yeah, that should be good right there. Yeah. Yes, sir. So this is a song called Three Chords at a Time. And I know this is one of Doug's favorite songs that I got to write. My kind of background of the song, I grew up, my dad was a pastor. I grew up a preacher's kid, so he'd give me all the life lessons I need to know, but I just wouldn't listen because my dad's a pastor and I'm a preacher's kid. So then I'd turn on the radio and I'd hear, my favorite country singers reiterating the same things my dad would tell me, all these, how to love somebody, how to this, how to that. And it's these life lessons. So I wrote a song about it, about growing up 3 chords at a time. And it goes like this. Grandpa left me that old Chevrolet. Didn't run, but the radio still played. And I sang along. Well, Johnny taught me how to walk that line. Hank Williams told me it's all right to cry. Guess the world just makes more sense with a country song, where the right is always right and the wrong is wrong. I learned to live, I learned to love, right there in that old truck. I grew up 3 chords at a time. I met a girl like Conway sang about. Fix the engine 'cause I had to take her out on the town. Then we pulled over across that county line. Tailgate lovers, 6 strings and some wine all night. Guess the world just makes more sense with a country song, where the right is always right and the wrong is wrong. I learned to live, I learned to love, right there in that old truck. I grew up 3 chords at a time. Grandpa never knew the gift he gave me, or how that AM dial was gonna save me. Guess the world just makes more sense with a country song, where the right is always right and the wrong is wrong. I learned to live, I learned to love, right there in that old truck. Yeah, I grew up 3 chords at a time. Yeah, I grew up 3 chords at a time. Grandpa left me that old Chevrolet. Didn't run, but the radio still played. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's a great example. You told me the story. So that guitar basically, that song came out of that guitar lick, right?
Yeah.
Which-
And
so-
when you
so-
write a song, it's different every time. But yeah, I was one of those 4 a.m. at night. I couldn't sleep. It would go out of my head that I couldn't get it out of my head. And then it's kind of trying to figure out, what does that mean?
That's
What is that
incredible.
trying to say? So
Well, guys, all 3 of those songs are incredible, and all I can say is country music is alive and well. Y'all.
Get up there now.
I mean, I'd like
Now
to hear
need to
Doug sing
unplug?
a song.
Okay, I'm on unplug, so I got to follow you.
Come on.
Great.
If y'all don't know, Doug Johnson is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. He's amazing. I'll hype him up because he's getting his
man.
microphone off. I'll hype him up. He's getting his mic off. He's the greatest songwriter of all time. 3 Wooden Crosses, Love Like Crazy, She Won't Be Lonely Long, you name it. If you take my thing, like I said, it plays okay. It's not that great, but it'll do the job.
Hey, what a fun thing, and what a great organization, and what a great thing y'all offer. It's the business of magic. And so I wrote this with Kim Williams. Kim graduated, went on to heaven about 4 years ago. Best friend. He was burned over about 70% of his body. He was the one that taught me. He said, Doug, pain's a given, suffering's optional. And just loved writing more than anybody I knew. And, so I was got home and was sitting at home around the table with my wife Lisa. And I have a tendency of picking the guitar up. And thank God I did that night, because I just started playing this, and this first verse came out and changed one word of it. And the next day I was writing with Kim, and we were able to finish it. And God bless Randy Travis too. A farmer and a teacher, a hooker and a preacher, were riding on a midnight bus bound for Mexico. One was headed for vacation, one for higher education, and 2 of them were searching for lost souls. But that driver never ever saw the stop sign, and 18-wheelers can't stop on a dime. Y'all sing it with me. And there are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. I guess it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. It's what you leave behind you when you go. All right, so guys, we left that day, and I was like, man, we might have written a perfect country song. And then Kim called me next morning and said, what about the bus driver? Farmer, teacher. So we talked about it and decided that it was right like it was. My story was the bus driver was Jesus. It was divine intervention. Kim's story was a bus driver was turned around looking at the hooker, fell out right before the semi hit him. And so about 6 months into it, a buddy at a radio station in Detroit called and said, hey, we're having a contest to figure out what happened to the bus driver. Well, that farmer left to harvest, home and 80 acres, faith and love for growing things in his young son's heart. And that teacher left her wisdom in the minds of lots of children, did her best to give them all a better start. And that preacher whispered, can't you see the promised land? As he laid his blood-stained Bible in that hooker's hands. And there are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. I guess it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. It's what you leave behind you when you go. Well, that's the story that our preacher told last Sunday. And as he held that blood-stained Bible up for all of us to see, he said, bless the farmer, and the teacher, and that preacher who gave this Bible to my mama, who read it to me. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, now I guess we'll know. It's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. It's what you leave behind you when you go. Yeah, there are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a blast.
So
Thank
fun.
you.
So fun.
Thank you. There again, it's a beautiful thing we get to do every day, and chase a dream, and hopefully do something that makes somebody else's life, part of their life too. And so just let's keep on. Hey, since 1984, American Songwriters contests have helped artists gain exposure and have fun. So if you want to get your songs in front of contest judges like Paul Stanley of KISS and Steve Robertson, Senior VP of A&R Atlantic Records, and win $10,000. Are you serious? $10,000? Okay,
Wow.
That wasn't a typo. A publishing deal, a career consultation with Senior VP of A&R of Atlantic Records, then you should enter the 2021 Song Contest today. The contest ends tonight at midnight, so everybody get in. The link is in the chat. So they've got the link, right? Okay, good deal. So one question. So people who are wanting to, one thing too, somebody had asked about what genre. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like we're all in every genre. We just happen to be in Nashville and doing this. But great songs are great songs. And there again, the hair on the back of your neck is not a genre. It's it's emotion. So if you could say one thing of what you've learned at this early point in your career, of your early point in your long career, I may add, what advice would that be, Dan, for aspiring songwriters?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will tell you it's all about who you know, it's about networking, it's about this. The songwriting is one of the things still left where if you just marry yourself to the craft and you write a great song, the doors will open for you. Every door that's opened for me has been because of great songs. So I would just say, really just marry yourself to the craft, and the rest takes care of itself.
Great. MaRynn, how about you?
I feel like there's a lot, but I guess I'll just say to write from your heart, I think. I know that sounds kind of like generic, but it's so true. I think sometimes you'll hear, something on the radio, and then you'll be like, oh, I have to write a song just like that so I can get on the radio. When, you don't have to do that. Just if you write from your heart and people see your truth and they see your heart, I think that resonates. And like you said, just great music, like the hairs on the back of your neck, that's every kind of music. So I think just write what you know, and then just learn from people and be willing to learn from people, I think. Yeah.
You're living that advice. Josiah, how about you?
Well,
Advice.
I guess my advice would be, they always say don't rhyme girl and world, in the songwriting world, don't rhyme girl and world or whatever. I cut a song that has girl and world on the hook. So I don't know. I say don't follow rules, break all the rules that you can break. The more rules you break, the better. Try and make it a 3-minute song with the chorus and a verse, but yeah, don't listen to people when they tell you never do that. Just be yourself, and the more that you write yourself, the more of I guess I say it's a thumbprint, kind of like an artist or a songwriter thumbprint. The more you be yourself, the more thumbprints you get on the music.
That's great. I heard a lot of people give us rules, and one thing I love about songs is a great song can make a liar out of anybody. You can break any rule. It's just about heart and soul. I think things I've learned is focusing on what I can affect. Nobody can love it more than me. Nobody can work any harder than I choose to work. Nobody can have more faith and find more joy in it. So I think those things we have to do to keep us moving. And then doing smart things, like you say, read. Look at your favorite writers. Look at their lyrics. Just sometimes without listening, just look at them. And any of those things. And God bless us all. May we save this crazy world through songwriting.
Right.
And we know it needs some help. Right? Hey, so thank everybody for watching today. It's been a blast. I'm hanging out with these cats. I love it. I do it every day anyway. So I love it. And thank you for the questions. And follow American Songwriter on Twitch. And hey, thank you to American Songwriter. What a great opportunity and a great source for people who want to be in this business and want to learn and get. So thank you. Been around forever. Been a great organization. So thank you so much. And hey, don't forget $10,000. You got to enter the contest by midnight. $10,000. Can we enter? No.
I was going to say.
You submit some 3 wooden crosses.
Oh yeah.
Give you a couple grand when you win.
God bless you. Go change the world.